You remember Pokemon as bright colors, catchy theme songs, and Saturday morning hype. A safe, magical world where Pikachu was your best friend. For casual viewers, it's just the biggest kids show of the 90s. For lifelong fans, it's a cultural juggernaut that shaped childhoods around the globe. For critics, it's a franchise that once caused one of the strangest and most dangerous incidents in television history. December 16th, 1997, Japan. Over 700 children rushed to hospitals. Headaches, vomiting, seizures, some even losing consciousness, and all of it traced back to a single episode. An episode that aired once and was never seen again. This is Behind the Dark Archive, and today we're opening the file on the Pokemon episode that shocked the nation. It started like a regular Tuesday night in Japan, December 16th, 1997 to be exact, 6:30 p.m. Dinner was on the table, kids were in front of the TV, and Pokemon was still in its infancy, was about to air its 38th episode, and then it happened. Roughly 20 minutes into the episode, during a cyberspace scene, Pikachu fires a thunderbolt at a group of missiles. Those missiles explode with a rapid-fire sequence of flashing red and blue lights, roughly 12 flashes per second. What followed was not your typical cartoon cliffhanger. Phones started ringing at hospitals, kids were collapsing, parents were panicking, and emergency rooms were flooded. Reports claimed over 600 children were affected. More than 150 were hospitalized. Many experienced seizures, vomiting, temporary blindness, or loss of consciousness. This wasn't, haha, cartoons are bad for your brain energy. This was national disaster energy. And just like that, the episode vanished. No reruns, no VHS release, no streaming archive, just deleted. Not censored, scrubbed. This is Behind the Dark Archive, and what they didn't want you to see, we archived it. The episode was titled Dino Senshi Porygon, or Electric Soldier Porygon in English, and while the name sounds like a rejected Mega Man boss, it quickly became infamous for something far more serious. The story itself was actually kind of creative for 1997. Ash and friends get digitized and enter a cyberspace dimension to fix a problem in the Pokemon transport system. Team Rocket is up to their usual shenanigans, trying to hijack Pokeballs. Meanwhile, Porygon's just vibing in the cold, minding his own business. Then the missiles show up, and Pikachu being Pikachu, zaps them. Boom! Flashing lights, and not like party lights. We're talking a screen pulsing, eye assaulting, red and blue seizure strobe that felt like animators were trying to unlock the Sharingan in real life. Over 700 kids reportedly experienced symptoms, ranging from headaches and nausea to seizures and unconsciousness. Some kids were taken away in stretchers, others blacked out in their living rooms. It was pure chaos. Parents thought their kids were playing around at first, until they weren't moving, until they couldn't speak, until they were vomiting on the carpet while Pokemon still played on the screen like nothing happened. Ambulances were dispatched, news stations scrambled for answers, and emergency rooms filled with children who all watched the same cartoon at the same time and ended up with the same condition. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it was real, and it didn't matter where you lived, city or countryside, rich neighborhood or rural town. If you had a TV and you were watching Pokemon that night, you were a part of it. For many parents, it was the first time they looked at a cartoon and thought, this could actually be dangerous. And the worst part, nobody saw it coming. This was Pokemon, not Evangelion. No one expected to leave a 6:30 p.m. anime show with a medical bill. Let's break it down. The strobe effect in the episode ran at 12 Hz. That's 12 flashes per second. This specific frequency falls right in the danger zone for people with photosensitive epilepsy. The red and blue color combo, even worse. It's one of the highest risk combinations for visual triggers. But here's where it gets strange. Not everyone who reported symptoms had epilepsy. In fact, a lot of the kids had no history of seizures at all, and some kids felt sick just hearing about the episode. They weren't even watching. They just heard from a friend at school that Pokemon made kids pass out, and then suddenly they felt dizzy too. That's when experts started calling it a case of mass psychosomatic illness, a phenomenon where people experience real symptoms because of psychological suggestion. It's the same thing that causes fainting at concerts, or when one person in class throws up and half the room suddenly feels sick. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just mass hysteria. The flashing lights really were dangerous, so what we had was a double crisis, a real visual hazard that caused a real medical response, followed by a wave of panic that made everything worse, like throwing gasoline on a digital fire. And in the middle of it all, Pikachu was standing there smug as ever like, who, me? What happened next was straight out of a corporate horror movie. TV Tokyo yanked the episode immediately. The entire Pokemon anime was put on hiatus for 4 months, practically a death sentence for a rising show. But instead of folding, the Pokemon team launched a full-on emergency audit of their content. Animation studios across Japan were ordered to rewrite their visual safety protocols. New guidelines were introduced for frame rates, color flashes, light intensity, and transitions. They even created seizure simulators to test new episodes before they aired. Yes, somewhere in the Tokyo office, a poor intern probably had to sit in a room and make sure Pikachu didn't become a biological weapon again. Meanwhile, Nintendo and Pokemon execs were doing PR backflips, and they needed someone or something to take the fall. Enter Porygon, the poor digital duck who had exactly 0 lines, 0 attacks, and 0 flashes in that episode. But guess what? He was never seen again in the anime. Not Porygon, not Porygon 2, not even Porygon Z. They wiped him like a corrupted save file. And Pikachu, he was back the minute the show returned, with toned down electricity and the same marketable cheeks. No punishment, no timeout, just thunderbolts and toy sales. That's like fireworks going off in a building, having that said building collapse, and everyone blaming the guy who opened the door. This wasn't just a banned episode, this was a full-on disappearance. Electric Soldier Porygon has never re-aired, not in Japan, not during anniversaries, not in any official Pokemon collection. You won't find it on DVD, you won't find it on Blu-ray. Even Pokemon streaming bundles skip it, as if the episode never existed. It's the only Pokemon episode completely removed from the franchise's official history, and it's not like they forgot. They made sure it stayed gone. Yet, like all forbidden fruit, it found a way to survive. Bootleg VHS tapes, pixelated YouTube rips, fan sites with low-res downloads and epilepsy warnings. Some fans even recreated the episode from scratch just to prove it was real. And if you watch it today, it still feels off, like you're watching something that shouldn't be seen. The pacing is weird, the design is minimal, and when that infamous strobe hits, you feel your brain say, hey man, are we okay? It's a cursed relic, a 22-minute digital time bomb from 1997. And the reason no one talks about it? Because it doesn't fit the brand anymore. Pokemon is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be wholesome. And this episode was none of those things. Pokemon Shock didn't just change one show, it changed an entire industry. After the incident, countries around the world began adopting their own animation safety rules. The UK added broadcast strobe tests. The US edited dozens of Pokemon episodes before airing them on 4Kids or WB. Even SpongeBob and Naruto episodes were dimmed and re-edited in the years that followed, all because one scene in one episode in one country. And still, Porygon remained the fall guy. No apology, no reintroduction, or no redemption arc. He became a symbol of the media industry's habit of burying problems instead of fixing them. Just erase the episode, pretend it never happened, blame the weird digital Pokemon, and keep Pikachu squeaky clean for the next movie deal. But fans, we remember. We remember that day Pokemon crossed from cartoon to controversy, from franchise to fallout. It's a glitch in the Matrix they never quite patched. And what they didn't want you to see, we archived it. If that twisted you up, check out our episode on SpongeBob's Darkest Conspiracy Theories here on Behind the Dark Archive. Or maybe head over to Zombie Survival Archive to find out how Batman survives the undead. No gadgets, no Robin, just grit. This is Behind the Dark Archive, and what they didn't want you to see, we archived it. Subscribe now, because the deeper it gets, the darker it gets. Thank you for watching our videos, we really appreciate it.